Imagine standing over a simple grate in the street, the kind you walk past every day without a second thought. But what if something down there is watching you back? What if the sewers beneath our cities aren't just forgotten tunnels of waste, but hiding places for things that should never see the light? Tonight, I'm sharing 3 true horror stories from those depths, real accounts from people who ventured below and came back changed, or didn't come back at all. These aren't fairy tales, they're nightmares that lurk below. Stick around if you dare, because once you hear them, you'll never look at a manhole the same way again. Story 1: The Whisper in the Drain. It started on a rainy autumn evening in a quiet suburb of Maine, much like the one Stephen King writes about, where the ordinary masks something far more sinister. This is the story of Tommy, a 12-year-old boy who loved exploring the storm drains near his house, the kind that gurgled like living things after a downpour. Tommy wasn't afraid of the dark. He saw it as an adventure, a secret world just below the pavement where he could escape his parents' arguments echoing through the thin walls above. One afternoon, as the rain pelted down like needles, he pried open a loose grate with a stick, the metal groaning like a beast awakening, and slipped inside, his flashlight cutting through the murk like a feeble knife. The air hit him first, thick, fetid, a mix of rot and something metallic, like old blood mixed with earth. His sneakers squelched in the shallow water, and he could feel the chill seeping through, wrapping around his ankles like invisible hands. Deeper in, the tunnel narrowed, the walls slick with slime that glistened under his light, and he heard it, a whisper, faint at first, like wind through cracks, but then clearer, calling his name. Tommy! Come closer. His heart pounded, but curiosity pulled him forward, that childish thrill masking the dread building in his gut. Was it an echo? A trick of the water? He pressed on, the whispers growing into fragmented words, stories of lost children who had wandered too far, their voices trapped in the pipes forever. Suddenly, a shape shifted in the darkness ahead, a pale hand reaching from a side pipe, fingers elongated and webbed, nails like rusted hooks. Tommy froze, his breath catching, the flashlight trembling in his grip. The thing whispered again, "Join us, it's warmer down here." And he bolted, slipping on the muck, scraping his knees raw as he clawed his way back to the surface. But when he emerged, gasping into the rain, he realized the whispers hadn't stopped. They followed him home, echoing in every drain, every sink. Tommy never spoke of it, but years later as an adult, he confided in a therapist, quoting King's own words from It. "We all float down here, and sometimes, on rainy nights, he swears he still hears them calling." What if Tommy wasn't alone? What if those whispers are waiting for you too? Just below. If that chilled you, wait until you hear the next one. These stories aren't just tales, they're warnings from the depths. Let's descend further.
Story 2: The Maintenance Man's Descent. Deep beneath the bustling streets of Chicago, where the sewers twist like veins under the skin of the city, comes the account of Elias, a veteran maintenance worker who'd spent 2 decades navigating those labyrinthine tunnels, flashlight in hand, fixing leaks and clearing blockages in the forgotten underbelly. Elias was a no-nonsense guy, the kind who laughed off ghost stories, but he carried a worn copy of Stephen King's The Stand in his lunchbox for breaks, finding solace in tales of apocalypse amid the stench. One sweltering summer night, during an emergency call for a flooded main line, he descended alone into a section rarely touched, old pipes from the 1800s, crusted with decades of grime and secrets. The ladder creaked under his weight, and as he dropped into the knee-deep sludge, the smell hit him like a wall. Not just sewage, but something sweeter, decaying, like overripe fruit mixed with death. He waded forward, his boots sucking at the muck, the beam of his light revealing graffiti from long ago, faded warnings scrawled in what looked like blood. Turn back. It waits. Elias shook it off, pressing on, but then the noises started, scraping like claws on metal, echoing from the branching tunnels. His radio crackled with static, cutting out completely, leaving him in isolation, the weight of the city above pressing down like a grave. Deeper in, he found it, a chamber, vast and unnatural, where the water pooled black and still, and in the center, a shape, humanoid, but twisted, its skin pale and mottled like fungus, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. It didn't attack, it just watched, whispering in a voice that mimicked his late wife's, "Elias, stay with me." Panic surged, his heart hammering as memories flooded back, her death, his guilt, and he realized this thing fed on regrets, pulling them from your mind like threads. He fled, dropping his tools, scrambling up the ladder with lungs burning, but not before it touched him. A cold finger brushing his ankle, leaving a mark that never healed. Elias quit the next day, and in an anonymous online post, he shared a quote from King's pet cemetery. "Sometimes dead is better." But he wonders, even now, if that thing is still down there, waiting for the next soul to descend. Could it be feeding on your hidden pains too? The depths hold more than we imagine. One more story to pull you under. Brace yourself.
In the abandoned storm sewers of an old industrial district in Detroit, where rusting factories loom like tombstones, we find the tale of Lena, a thrill-seeking urban explorer in her 20s, drawn to the forbidden like a moth to flame. Inspired by stories she'd read in Stephen King's Night Shift, where the mundane hides monsters, Lena documented her adventures on a blog, chasing the adrenaline of the unknown. One foggy midnight, armed with a headlamp and a GoPro, she slipped through a chained manhole into a network untouched for years, the air stale and heavy, carrying whispers of the city's buried history, floods that drowned workers, secrets swept away. Her footsteps echoed unnaturally loud, water dripping like a countdown, and she felt eyes on her, though the tunnels seemed empty. Deeper, the path forked into darkness, and she chose the narrower one, walls closing in, the damp cold seeping into her bones, making her skin prickle with unease. Then, the light caught it. Bones, scattered like forgotten toys, small, child-sized, arranged in patterns that formed crude drawings on the floor. Her breath hitched, camera shaking, as a low growl reverberated, not animal, but something ancient, hungry. She turned to run, but the tunnel shifted. Wait, no. It was alive, walls pulsing like flesh, tendrils of slime reaching out, wrapping around her legs, pulling her down into the black water. In her terror, memories flashed, childhood fears of the dark, the loss of her brother to a freak accident. And this thing, it knew, feeding on her grief, manifesting as his voice begging, "Help me, Lena!" She fought, clawing free with a surge of desperation, emerging topside battered and sobbing, her camera footage corrupted except for one frame, a face, grinning from the depths. Lena never explored again, but she posted a fragment online with a chilling note, echoing King's The Mist. There are things in the dark that we can't even imagine. What if those things are waiting for explorers like you, drawn by the same curiosity? And there you have it, 3 true horror stories from the sewers that lurk below,
reminders that some depths are better left unexplored. But the real terror? These accounts come from real people, changed forever by what they found. As Stephen King once wrote, monsters are real and ghosts are real too. They live inside us, and sometimes they win. If these tales made your skin crawl, or if you felt that pull from the dark yourself, you're not alone. You believe this really happened? Ever heard whispers from a drain? Share your story in the comments below. Maybe yours is the next one we tell. If this touched that hidden fear in you, hit like, subscribe for more nightmares, but only if you have the courage. And remember, next time you pass a manhole, listen closely. It might be calling your name.